first and foremost, to hit it straight on, we have adversity right now. Slow start, 0-2, not where you want to be. We've dealt with life issues, we've dealt with injuries, and that's all real, and that's a part of what we do and what we got to deal with. The beautiful thing about our philosophy here, our organization, is we're solution-oriented. We work together to find these solutions and solve our problems to get everything back on track. Make it really, really clear. I know the outside noise, but no one in our building's panicking. No one's flinching at any situations. Not our owner, not our president, not our head coach, not myself, none of our players. Everyone's focusing on solving the issues that we have so that we can be a better football team.
Ryan Poles, Bears general manager, after a tumultuous Wednesday, meeting with reporters on Thursday to make it clear that they're not panicking. Whether or not they actually are panicking is a different issue altogether. But, Peter, it was a strange day for the Bears at Hallis Hall on Wednesday. And the one thing that I continue to be astounded by, Chris and I spent a lot of time breaking this down yesterday, and I hadn't heard everything that Justin Fields said. But, and this is one of the realities in this age of social media, one little snippet of his comments was packaged in an unfair and overly salacious way by one beat writer, and it took on a life of its own, and it created the impression that Justin Fields, and I think the metaphor that was used was rolled a grenade into the coach's room and blamed the coaches for his struggles. And when you listen to everything Justin Fields said, even before he came to the locker room to clean it up, he didn't do that. And that's what would frustrate me if I were the Bears, that this whole thing on Wednesday took on a life of its own when it shouldn't have. When if folks had listened to everything Justin Fields had said, no one would have concluded reasonably that he's blaming the coaching staff for his robotic play.
So, Mike, I had not paid a lot of attention to that other than the headlines. And I, too, saw the sort of inflammatory, maybe it's coaching or whatever the snippet was. And when I saw your post about it yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I went back and I listened to everything. And I agree with you. I think you could take one sentence out of that in which he seems to be questioning the coaching. And you could take one sentence out of that. But in today's world, we far too often take one sentence instead of taking 5 paragraphs, which is, if you listen to that, I think you feel a lot, you feel like it is not an incendiary thing, what Justin Fields said. And quite honestly, after listening to the whole thing, I think if I were talking to him as a media coach or as a PR person, I would have said, you can never say that one sentence that you said, and now I'm forgetting it. But the one sentence that you said about, I don't know, could be coaching. Don't even open that door a crack. However, if you listen to the whole thing, I don't think it's Justin Fields attacking his coaching. And Mike, I'll just tell you one other thing. So I don't cover that team. I'm not around the team. I have had one lengthy conversation with Luke Getsy last year during the season about Fields, and I saw him in training camp this year. We talked briefly, but I just know that the way the Bears are right now, they are doing everything in their power. I mean everything to make sure that Justin Fields succeeds. This is not, I feel it bubbling up now. The Bears are going to change quarterbacks after the season. No. And I mean, they might. It's up to Justin Fields. But I do think that this team, when they go out and trade for DJ Moore, and they go out and draft to strengthen the offense around Justin Fields, I really think this is a team that is trying everything right now to make sure that Justin Fields is the guy. You can't sit there and say, and I applaud Ryan Pace in the offseason. He had plenty of chances to say, yep, Justin Fields is our no doubt long-term quarterback. He didn't say that, and good for him, because he shouldn't say it. What he said, in essence, was, we're going to give Justin Fields every opportunity and build a good team around him so that he can be our long-term quarterback. But they never guaranteed that he would be, and I think that's right and proper. Nor do I think this should, mar anything about Justin Fields as the leader of his team. Now, Mike, one last thing. This doesn't erase all of the little film clips that you've seen of Justin Fields not only missing receivers, but missing throwing for open receivers. Okay, that stuff he's got to get better at, and he knows it, and Getsy knows it, the offense knows it, everybody knows it. And so that is one of the things that Justin Fields simply must improve. He's got to see the field better, and he's got to throw for receivers who are open downfield.
Here's Ryan Poles also from Thursday talking about the comments that Justin Fields made that took on, as I said earlier, a life of their own. Have a listen.
In terms of Justin, I can't be more clear than this. No one in our entire building, none of our coaches, see Justin as a finger pointer at all. The kid's always taken ownership of anything that's happened on the field. He takes it head on. He works. He grinds. He puts his head down. He works with his teammates, works with his coaches to find solutions. Everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. In my opinion, you got a young quarterback trying to figure it out. You have a guy who hasn't had the cleanest start of his career, who last year, with the roster, had to put the team on the back, do some unbelievable things athletically. Now he gets talent around him and has to figure out and balance when to do those cool things athletically, when to lean on others, and that is sometimes a great place to live in, and that takes time. That takes time on task for him to take that next step, and everyone's on board helping him get into that place for him to be successful.
Peter, when you were addressing the Fields comments earlier, you didn't remember the specific comment, and he did say something like it could be coaching. That was the thing that prompted the brush fire. But then later he made it clear, it's my fault. I'm the one that has to take the coaching. Here's the tweet that started all this. This is from Dan Weeder of the Chicago Tribune. Justin Fields acknowledged he has been playing too robotic, then bit the pin off the grenade and rolled it into the building with his explanation for why he believes it is that way. Quote, coaching, end quote. That is a complete and total bastardization of everything Justin Fields said. And, it always frustrates me when someone says, you took my quote out of context, because that's just the knee-jerk reaction for, why are you talking about that thing that I said that I shouldn't have said? But this is the one time where something truly was taken out of context. You can't take that one word and interpret it the way that they're trying to interpret it and mesh with what Fields said. So I feel bad for the Bears that this happened. I feel bad for Fields that it happened. The kid's trying to explain why things are going wrong. But at the end of the day, as you said, he's still got to go play. And he's got to throw the ball to somebody who's open. If you got somebody wide open for a touchdown and everyone's going to see that on social media, you can't not throw that ball. And if you aren't going to make that throw, eventually you aren't going to be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. One last thing. This Alan Williams defensive coordinator situation, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to speculate on it, but I will say this. Yesterday, Pat McAfee, with his new platform on ESPN, confirmed the report that I wasn't ready to embrace because I'd never heard of the guy who made the report on Wednesday, but McAfee confirmed it. The FBI raided the home of Alan Williams at some point in the recent past. That's according to McAfee. Now, the Bears said, as to the rumor from Wednesday, that Hallis Hall was raided by the FBI in connection with Williams. They said on the record that wasn't true. But there's something weird that's still floating around that I don't know that we're ever going to have the answer to, Peter. All we know is Alan Williams is no longer the Bears defensive coordinator.
You're absolutely right. There's something weird that's floating around. It's been happening all week. And look, I don't know what happened. All I know is that when a defensive coordinator or a prominent coach leaves his team in the middle of September, I've heard coaches who leave teams on December 19th to go take the coaching job at Northern Arizona or whatever. I've heard of that. I've heard coaches who go in the hospital and can't coach. I've heard of that. I've not heard coaches who voluntarily leave their team under very cloudy circumstances on whenever, because he hasn't been around for a while. I have not heard anybody ever do that. So to me, this is not any, oh, let's just bury this and all move on. No, this needs to be aired out. We need to find out what happened here. It's all well and good to say that, oh, well, I'm going to get my health better, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I mean, I just think it's a pile of pablum right now. And I want to hear the reporting, and I want to see this fleshed out of what exactly happened. And again, look, Mike, a lot of people might just listen to that and say, well, you're a private citizen. He voluntarily chose, apparently, to step away, and so let's just let it be. Let's leave it alone. No, I disagree totally. And I'll tell you why I disagree. Do you know what happens when you are in a high-profile job with an NFL team? Millions and millions of people care about you. How many Bears fans are there in the United States of America? I'm just going to guess right now that if you asked people who love football how many Bears fans there would be, there's got to be 7, 8, 10 million people who love the Chicago Bears, who invest a lot of time in the Chicago Bears. So in after week one, your team is thrown, up into the breeze. You're having trouble anyway, and all of a sudden, one of the 2 or 3 most important coaches on your staff just voluntarily leaves. No, that doesn't pass the sniff test, and it's not acceptable to say, oh, we're not going to look into this. We're just going to let him disappear. No, not fair, not right, and people deserve a right to know what happened to Alan Williams.
If you're going to name these teams after cities and regions and states, they become a public trust. If we're going to spend public money for the stadiums, they become a public trust. When things like this happen, people have a right to ask the question as to what the hell went down here, to satisfy curiosity and just have an explanation as to why this thing has gone the way it has. We got to take a break. When we return, we'll talk about one of the intriguing to me Sunday games, Broncos taking on the Miami Dolphins. We'll do that next here on PFT Live. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.